Hey y'all, what's up? It's Eric Johnson back with y'all again with a live stream reporting some sad news. Coming out of the Los Angeles area today. What's up, Q Smooth? How you doing, brother? Report some sad news on one of the greatest NFL running backs of all time. Mr. Jim Brown has tragically passed away. At the young age of 87. He passed away today. In his sleep, he went and passed on to the other side. So this is a sad day for the National Football League. This is a sad day for the black community. We lost one of our greats. Um, Definitely wasn't around when Jim Brown was in his prime. Being a NFL player, he was around in this world way before I came on this earth, and I didn't even know he was born in Georgia. I'm getting this information off Wikipedia, and if you check the comment section or the live stream, I put some information in the chat for y'all can look at and stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to give my condolences to his family, his friends, and exchange loved ones. And shout out to Two Raw for TV for doing his Jim Brown video, and the other people on different platforms, giving their condolences to, the late great James Nathaniel Brown, who tragically passed away at the young age of 87. We all got to go one day, but it's just been a hard year of us just losing, our icons in, the Black American community. This is a hard one to this is a hard pill to swallow, because when you think of the NFL and the black running backs, you always think of Jim Brown. You always think of guys like it's just so many. Because I'm more of a college football person when it comes to like certain running backs and stuff. The Herschel Walkers, the Bo Jacksons, running backs like that. But when you think of Jim Brown, and him just being a dual threat player when it comes to like him playing in different sports, and definitely being a contributor to the evolution of the black running back, black fullbacks, just a significant position to be playing in a time in an era where racism was at an extreme high, but he didn't let that stop him. He came into this world as somebody who's going to make something of himself, and he left this world as somebody who made himself an icon and made himself a respectable person, not within not only the Black American community but all over the world. So I just want to say rest in peace to the late great Jim Brown, and I'm going to be reading some information and just going through his life, his trials and tribulations, and I'm just going to give my flowers to the late great Jim Brown. Not many running backs of this today's era can actually say that they might not even get to the statue of a Jim Brown. Hell, maybe even certain college football running backs might not even get to a stature of like legendary running backs within college football, let alone the NFL, because the ways of the running back and the fullback position has constantly changed throughout different eras within football. Would it happen to be the college football um area or the NFL area? Because the running back position is not the same like it used to be. You don't have running backs staying in the NFL long like they used to. So you don't really see a lot of them going into the draft like that unless they really like extremely special. And Jim Brown was a significant player. He was one of many. I've seen a couple of his highlights on YouTube. Wasn't around to see him actually play. Um, Definitely was a person that definitely deserved his position as one of the greatest NFL players of all time, especially representing himself as a black man in a, let's just say, not friendly league when it comes to black players during that time, and during the segregation of Black American people being discriminated against. So I'm gonna read off his Wikipedia. James Nathaniel Brown. He was born February 17th, 1936. He died um yesterday, which I'm getting the reports from his wife. Her name is Monique. I don't know the sister's last name, but my condolences go out to you and your family. Um, he was an American football player, sports analyst, social activist, and actor. He played as a fullback for the Cleveland Browns for the National Football League through 1957. He played from 1957 to 1965. He is considered to be one of the greatest running backs of all time, as well as one of the greatest players in NFL history. Brown was a Pro Bowl invitee every season he was in the league, was recognized as the R.i.p. most valuable player 3 times, and won an NFL championship with the Browns in 1964. And I think I was hearing a story about, I think somebody broke into his house and stole his Super Bowl championship ring or something. I don't know if they ever recovered it. Hey Mike, how you doing, man? Just reporting some sad news, man. Jim Brown, passing away at the young age of 87. Matter of fact, you can come in if you want to. I'm just reading his bio off his Wikipedia. So I'm gonna just be going through, some of his NFL stats, going through some of his, trials and tribulations that he had in his life. And we just gonna give our final condolences to the late great Jim Brown. I was saying before I started, and when the live stream started, that I wasn't around to see him play. I look at highlights. I'm more familiar with him being in movies and being like on certain sports shows, analyzing football games and stuff like that. But I'm more familiar of him being in like black exploitation movies and stuff. So I can't really tell you nothing about him, being in the National Football League besides looking at certain career highlights that he had. So let me just go through, his beginning. He was a Pro Bowler every time he played in his prestigious career. I'm finna let you on in a couple of seconds, Mike. Let me just read the rest of this, then we'll keep going forward with this, sad news. He won an NFL championship with the Cleveland Browns in 1964. He led the league in rushing yards in 8 out of his 9 seasons, and by the time he retired, he held most major rushing records. In 2002, he was named by the Sporting News as the greatest professional football player of all time. So he had a short career, but he did so much within his 8-year career. Imagine if he stayed in the career for at least 10, maybe 15 plus years. He might have had like more rushing yards than any running back can ever, accumulate during the era that he was playing, or in any era of which NFL running backs have been coming through, which it have been the late 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and up to modern day. So, Jim Brown was a bad mother, shut your mouth. He was that dude when it came to, being an activist and for being on the field, being on the gridiron. And you can really tell that back then the rules was way different when it comes to, running backs, quarterbacks, defensive players. They was playing for keeps back then. They didn't have like the technology that they have for, these certain players that play in different sports, the protective equipment. It was just gridiron gang out there. So once you get hit hard, you might not be able to recover. One wrong hit back then in that era, and your career might be over. So you had to be a tough mother sucker to be in the NFL at that time, and especially to be a running back, a black running back at that. So you see Jim Brown running motherfuckers over. It might take 6 dudes to try to bring him down, and he just breaking tackles like he's the greased up deaf guy, our family guy. But besides that, let me go on to let my brother Mike Movies and Podcast on. He is a contributor of the channel, and we just gonna see what my brother got to say.
Yo, what's good?
What's up, brother Mike? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. Just reporting this sad news on the late great Jim Brown.
Yeah, I saw that on I think it was like Facebook or Twitter, one of them. I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, really? I think I saw him in a movie. I think recently. Um, yeah, I don't know none of his like football stuff, but I know him through films like
Yeah,
Slaughter's big rip off, or um, he was pretty hot, back in the '70s with the black exploitation. And he was also in "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker." He was great in that, and yeah, he was in original Gangsters. Um, yeah, no, I thought he was kind of underrated as an actor. Like when you hear like black exploitation actors, you think of Richard Roundtree or Fred Williamson, Pam Grier, Rudy Ray Moore. Like you think of those people, but Jim Brown, I thought he was kind of like underrated out of the bunch. But yeah, this is definitely like sad news because he was like one of my favorite like action stars too. From the '70s, '80s, and stuff like that. Yeah, very sad. We losing all of our legends. You
yeah,
know.
man. And one of my friends that I was on YouTube looking at constantly. He's a Tennessee fan. Um he has a channel called BBD. He tragically passed away today. I was looking at one of my friend's YouTube channels. His name is TikTok Chess Hall.
Yeah.
He's a UGA football fan, and he reported the news of him, passing away tragically. And I just want to give my condolences to him and his family. So even though he was a Tennessee fan, and Georgia and Tennessee have a long history of not liking each other, he was a great person when it comes to him being a Tennessee fan, and being a father, and just being a righteous person. So I just want to say
Yeah.
rest in peace to BBD, and go subscribe to his channel if you have a loving of college football. Don't matter what fan base you are with. If you happen to be an Alabama fan, a Tennessee fan, Georgia fan, we fell in love with the game of college football, and we fell in love with the NFL, even though they be on some bullshit most of the time. But we just coming
Right.
here to give our condolences to the late great Jim Brown. And
Yeah.
besides that, I didn't know he was from Georgia. I'm going through his Wikipedia. He's from St. Simons Island, Georgia,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go through some of his career highlights and awards. He is a NFL champion, which is considered, I think, a Super Bowl champion, because I don't know when they actually start calling it the Super Bowl within that time of era. He is a three-time NFL Most Valuable Player, 1957, 1958, and 1965. And he was a first-round draft pick in the 1957 NFL Draft. He was a first-round draft pick, and he got picked first-round six pick. And he was a eight-time NFL All Pro throughout his whole career, second team All Pro in 1962, a nine-time Pro Bowl um, participant. He is an eight-time NFL rushing yards leader throughout his whole career, five-time NFL rushing touchdowns leader, 1957, 1959, 1963, and 1965, NFL scoring leader, 1958, NFL 1960s All-Decade Team, NFL 50th Anniversary All-Team, NFL 75th Anniversary All-Time Team, NFL 100th anniversary all-time team. The Brett Bell Award he won in 1963. Cleveland Browns Ring of Honor. Cleveland Browns they retired his jersey, so no Cleveland Browns player can ever wear the jersey number or number 32, which is a
Mm.
good thing, because in certain sports you will see certain people wearing like iconic number jerseys, and they don't live up to the hype or prestige. I ain't gonna name no names, but if y'all know some, just put it in the comment section. But besides that, him getting his jersey retired, uh, unanimous All American in 1956, 13 All American in 1955. They retired his jersey at the University of Syracuse. He played for them in college. He was number 44. They retired the number 44 jersey, and he is the greatest college football player of all time. College football, 150 greatest college football players of all time. Always go back in between him and Herschel Walker. I know a lot of people have problems with Herschel Walker when it comes to his political alliances, but you cannot tell me that that dude was a he was a terror at the University of Georgia, and so was Jim Brown. I can only imagine if they ever went up against each other. If Georgia and Syracuse ever got into like a, all out fight of going back and forth in an era of when college football was just at an all time high. And I'm gonna go through some of his career NFL statistics. His career total rushing yards are 12,312 yards, and he did that within an 8-year span. Imagine if he played for 10 years or maybe 15 years, because the wear and tear on certain running backs back then, they might could have lasted longer, due to like the toughness of the game and just like the certain way that they play. Besides, certain running backs not being able to last long, in a era of this day. So I can only imagine if he stayed around for at least 15 years in the NFL. No telling, he might have been a. I don't know if anybody broke his rushing yards records when it comes to Cleveland Browns running backs. I have to look that up at a later period of time, but you can only imagine if he stayed in the NFL a little bit longer. His rushing average is 5.2 yards a carry. Total rushing touchdowns throughout his whole career 106, 262 receptions, almost 2,500 yards of receiving, and 20 receiving touchdowns. So he did all that within an 8-year span. So he almost had a total of 15,000 total yards when it comes to his rushing and receiving yards. Rushing touchdowns. Adding to the receiving touchdowns, he had a total of 126 touchdowns within an 8-year span. So it just goes to show you that Jim Brown want a dude to be fucked with on the gridiron. If you're gonna run up on that dude, you're gonna at least have to have 3 or maybe 4 plus people to take him down. Cause when you look at highlights of this dude, this motherfucker was a bulldozer, and I was hate to have to tackle this dude, man. Cause you have to have God given talent, and God must have to bless you with unique abilities to actually go out there every weekend on the gridiron in the NFL around that time in that era when racism was so high for Black Americans, and you have to deal with people doubting you, racism, people calling you all types of N words, just being dicks, and he just going out there and just running motherfuckers over and just proving to all his haters and all his daughters that I'm that nigga that y'all don't need to fuck with, and I'm gonna run over anybody who gonna stop me and my team.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it 100%. Um, yeah, like I said, I don't know much about. I knew he was a football player, and I'm pretty. I think I saw highlights of him playing football. He looked good out there. You know what I mean? And I'm surprised that this doesn't this didn't get as much exposure, like as much like story. I thought that you would think this would be like breaking news because he's very popular. I'm pretty sure it'll be breaking news to the sports world more than Hollywood, but at the same time, it's like he's a legend still. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to, especially as fans, we definitely have to, you know, give these legends, they flowers. If Hollywood's not going to do it, then we have to do it. So Yeah. Honestly, um, yeah, I want to have to see, stuff, and you know me, I'm a football fan, so it would have been nice to like see it, while he was playing football and stuff. But um, yeah. Now this knowledge, basically, now it's like now I know like more in depth than anything else.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna read some more information on his college football career. I'm gonna go in this panel now. Um, he played at the University of Syracuse. He earned a unanimous All-American honors playing for Syracuse University, where he was an all-around player for the Syracuse Orangemen football team. I already said they retired his jersey number 44, and he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1995. And this is something I never knew, because I only thought he played college football. He also played lacrosse, and they consider him one of the greatest lacrosse players of all time. And he earned the Premier Lacrosse League MVP. They named the award in his honor, and he also excelled in basketball and track and field. So not only that this dude played football, running motherfuckers over, he played lacrosse, which is a sport that I don't see a lot of brothers playing. I'm still surprised that black folks playing hockey. So I'm still shocked that we got brothers out there, running motherfuckers over and making goals and stuff. So that's a good thing. See, this is something that all the haters and doubters want to say when it comes to black people playing different types of sports. We can do anything once we put our minds to it, especially when it comes to certain Black American players, because they might be a great in one sport but not be good in the other type of sport. Jim Brown was not only playing football, he was playing lacrosse, basketball, and track and field. So he was playing 4 sports. So he specialized in 4 different types of sports. No telling what else he could have did if he was still alive, because he still had something to bring to this world. Unlike some people, I ain't gonna bring no names up that's in the White House, Joe Biden. But besides that, I already read his career rushing yards. I already went through all his stats. Um, he says he is third best among running backs behind Marlon Munty and Jamal Charles for yes, his average rushing yards, which is 5.2 per rush, is third best among running backs behind Marlon Munty and Jamal Charles. Brown was enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1971. He was named the NFL's 50th, 75th, and 100th anniversary All Teams, composing the best players in NFL history. Brown was honored at the 2020 College Football Playoff National Championship, which my no, that was the COVID year. So that was the year I think Alabama and Ohio State played for the national championship. That was around the COVID era. So yeah, they already got the information of his jersey being retired. 32. And it said Brown became an actor, attaining 53 acting credits and several leading roles throughout the 1970s. So I'm gonna go through his early life. Brown was born in St. Simons Island, Georgia, to Swinton Brown, a professional boxer, and his wife Teresa, a homemaker. He attended Manhasset Secondary School in Manhasset, New York. Brown earned 13 letters playing football, lacrosse, basketball, football, lacrosse, baseball, basketball, and running track. So he earned 13 letters for most likely numerous schools for him to play numerous sports. And it's saying that Mr. Brown credits his self re- reliance to having grown up in St. Simons Island, a community off the coast of Georgia where he was raised by his grandmother and where racism did not affect him directly. At the age of 8, he moved to Manhasset, New York on Long Island, where his mother worked as a domestic it was at Manhasset High School that he became a football star and an athletic legend. And this is coming from the New York Times film review in 2002.
Mm.
And not only that this dude was running motherfuckers over in the football field, it's saying that he averaged a then Long Island record of 38 points per game for his basketball team. That record was later broken by future Boston Red Sox star Carl. I don't know how to say this dude's name. Carl Yazimik. It sounds like some Russian shit, so I'm gonna just move past that. I'm gonna just call you Carl Y. Let me go to his college career. We're going through his college career at Syracuse University as a sophomore in 1954. Brown was the second leading rusher on his team as a junior. He rushed for 676 yards, 5.2 yards per carry in his senior year in 1956. He was a first-team All-American, finishing fifth in the Heisman Trophy voting and set school records for the highest season rushing average, 6.2 yards per carry in most rushing touchdowns in a single game, 6. He ran for 986 yards, third most in the country, despite Syracuse playing only 8 games, and scored 14 touchdowns. In the regular season finale, a 61-7 rout of Colgate. That's a funny ass college football team. They actually got a school called Colgate at the toothpaste. So it's certain college football teams that I never knew existed, and they got a college football team named Colgate. So we got to make some humor out of this, tragic story. He rushed for 197 yards and scored 6 touchdowns. This man scored 6 touchdowns in one game. Now y'all want to talk about Al Bundy scoring 4 touchdowns for Polk High? Jim Brown was scoring 6 touchdowns in one game.
Mm.
So who's really the GOAT out here? Is it Al Bundy or Jim Brown? Al Bundy's my guy, but Jim Brown
Right.
scored 6 touchdowns in one game. Come on now, Al Bundy got to bow down to Jim Brown. I'm gonna just say that right now. You're gonna have
I
to
agree.
pull you a 40 out for Jim Brown, Al Bundy.
Right. But yeah, man. Um, yeah, nah, Jim Brown though, like he was like he's a jack of all trades. You know what I mean? Like he's like the jack of all trades, basically. And not only he did football, he did basketball, he did track. He did acting. You know what I mean? It's like he's just talented, and it goes back to what I said. I think he's very underrated. At all at all costs, he's very underrated. But yeah, like I don't know, like and two, Jim Brown. Every time I see him in the movies and stuff, whether it's a whether it's a good movie or it's one of them it's so bad it's good movies, like he still brings that coolness, you know what I mean, into the role. You know what I mean? Like he's just laid back and like cool. And some of his especially some of his performances to me is like it's unintentionally funny, if you will. But yeah, like he had that screen presence, and like I said, like he's just criminally of at all around. He's very criminally underrated.
And I'm glad you said that because you could tell in certain black exploitation movies he was that nigga not to be fucked with because he'll kick your ass. So that's the type of dude that you don't want to be on his bad side because he just give you that look, he just give you that stare. This is way before the Scarface stare. When
Yeah,
he shot Manolo because he was fucking Gina when he told him not to be messing with his sister. Jim Brown give you that look, and it just started getting down. And I like when you said like in some like cheesy movies from like the black exploitation era, even though they was like not up to par of like legendary black exploitation movies, he always made something out of nothing, when it comes to him being a cool motherfucker. So I'm glad you said that. I'm going some more extra information because he was a person that served his country. Let me get into that. While in college, Brown participated in the Reserve Officers Training Corps. After graduating, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant during his time in the NFL. Brown continued his military commitment as a member of the United States Army Reserve. He served 4 years and was discharged with the rank of captain. So he served his country in the United States Army Reserve for 4 years, and he was a captain. That was his highest rank. So you can't say that Black Americans don't serve their country, even though y'all haven't given my people their just due. Jim Brown is a true American hero when it comes amongst not only Black American heroes who put their life on the line for the U.S. of A. And it just goes to show you that once you start treating people right in this country, we don't mind, putting in that work like we always do. But when it comes to you just keeping white supremacy and racism amongst a brother's head, it just makes our lives much because that just goes to show you that we know who our true enemy is. And Jim Brown didn't let that doubt him because not only in the NFL he was running motherfuckers over. This just goes to show you that a dude like that, you can't be messing with him when it comes to, trying to run up on him and just do unnecessary shit. Because we see so much of that stuff right now going on with these crooked ass cops and these, unstable creatures out here just causing mass shootings. We just trying to live our lives, but this just goes to show you when you mess with a dude like Jim Brown, you might as well just burn your lunch pad because it's gonna be a long day. And I'm not trying to be on that I'm not trying to be on the end and get my ass whooped by Fred Williamson and definitely Jim Brown. Because if that nigga put his hands on you, you was going to the hospital. You can already see some scenes in these black exploitation movies. And what was that movie that you said earlier? The movie in the 90s?
Um, let's see, movie in the 90s. It was called Original Gangsters.
Gangsters. Now, if you look at that scene of him outside the grocery store when Fred Williamson was fighting those brothers for causing, mischief in the neighborhood, you see Jim Brown come up there and start kicking ass. So that just goes to show you, do not be messing with these old folks who got some sense in the black community. If you see a dude with a Vietnam shirt on or a Vietnam hat, and he got all these stars and stripes on it, y'all need to walk across the street. I'm warning you, young dudes, and me of age, I know better. When you messing with these people that can have flashbacks of fighting Viet Cong motherfuckers in their pajamas, you just need to walk away. And a guy like Jim Brown, he wasn't a dude to be fucked with. So it's certain people that you don't need to mess with. Just show him the utmost respect. Shut the fuck up and just learn as best you can. Because we don't have certain people like this within our community anymore actually trying to drop jewels. We only have a specific amount of people that actually want to speak amongst the young people. Nowadays you have these old dudes out here that smell like mothballs and candy. They just want to stick amongst their daddies and their, old ladies of the spoiled milk village community. They just want to be with their people and just want to do them. They don't want to be with the young people. They stuck in their position. I think a guy like Jim Brown, he cared so much about his community that if somebody wanted to step to him, he was gonna break it to them. And I hate to see what your before and after pictures look like, because that would just be something that a Richard Pryor skit on stage would just be the most funniest thing ever. Because once you put Jim in a situation and you trying to do some shit to him, I think he was definitely going to handle himself not only as a man but as a black person.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Fred Williamson because he also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he also played football too, if I'm not mistaken. And like Fred Williamson, Jim Brown, like those are the dudes. Like, yeah, you want to get out, you want to get the hell out of Dodge at this point. You know what I'm saying? And like both of them are just Like, okay, even though I will say this, Jim Brown, okay, Fred Williamson, as far as like movies go, he's been in some good, and then he's been in some schlock. But Jim Brown, to me, he was he's been in some good, and then the schlock, it's one of those things. It's like he could definitely, whenever he does his scene, and it's like it's pretty much the best thing in a movie, like of what he's working with. Like I like whether he's playing good guys, bad guys, and stuff like that. But I remember, like, it was a couple movies actually that he was in, and he played a bad guy. I think he played like a head drug dealer or something. I forget the name of the movie, and it came out like in 1989. It had like a cast too. You know what I'm saying? And with that movie could have been like it could have been like the worst movie, but it's so bad it's good type, because like even though like the story is like paper thin and all that, but I mean his scenes, I mean he does it well. I'm not gonna hold you.
And speaking of him being in movies, I'm gonna go his filmography. His first movie was in 1964. It is called Rio Contras. 1967, I Spy. 1967, The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah,
Dark of the Sun. 1968, Ice Station Zebra. The
yeah.
Spirit Riot. 1969, 100 Rifles.
That's
Keener.
uh,
What you saying?
100 Rifles. That one I just picked up last week.
Okay, that's what's up. 1969, Tick 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 Tick. 1970, El Condo. The Grasshopper. 1972, Black Exploitation Era. Slaughter, Black Gun. 1973, Slaughter's Big Ripoff. The Slams. I escaped for I escaped from Devil's Island. 1974, Three the Hard Way. Underrated Black Exploitation movie.
Three the Hard Way. That
Really
was
good. You good? You got it.
no. I was just getting ready to say that's all I was gonna say. That was a really good movie.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, man. You had three of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. You had Jim Brown, you had Fred Williamson, and who was it? I forgot that dude off the Last Dragon. I
Uh,
forgot his damn name. The brother with the afro.
uh, I know you talking about Show Enough.
No, not Show Enough. He was on Enter the Dragon. Not the Last
Oh,
Dragon. Enter the
Jim,
Dragon.
Jim Kelly.
Yeah, Jim Kelly. You had Jim Kelly. You had Jim Kelly, Jim Brown, and Fred Williamson.
Yeah,
Right? What the fuck I'm saying? Fred Williamson, Jim Kelly, and Jim Brown. You had two Jims. Then you had Fred Williamson. Three the hard way. And I have to see if they have a movie soundtrack for that on vinyl. Because if they do, I have to add that to my collection. Because some of the greatest black exploitation movies had some of the greatest soundtracks. You had Superfly, you had Coffee with Pam Grier fine ass, you had Cleopatra Jones. Just so many black exploitation movies that was just so legendary way before its time. Let me go 1975, Take a Hard Ride, 1977, Police Story, 1977, Kid Vengeance, Fingers, 1978, Pacific Inferno, 1982, One Down, Two to Go.
that was good.
And, and he was on Chips from 1979 to 1983. He was in 3 episodes during the era. I didn't even know that. Only thing I like about Chips is the theme song. I wasn't really a Chips type of person. I'm more of a Miami Vice, fan. When I look at Chips and I see those uniforms, it always remind me of Reno 911. I always think of Reno 911. I don't know
Oh,
why.
no, I see where you're coming from.
Oh, he was in Night Rider in 1984. He was in the episode called Night of the Drones. Oh God! Now, don't laugh at me. Now, I'm sorry, Jim Brown. Now, guess what TV show he was in in 1983 through 1984? Now, you talked about this because of the fight scenes, which you said that was the most funniest shit ever. I just want you to guess what
Oh,
TV show he
oh
was in.
God, you talk about T.J. Hooker?
Yes,
Oh
yes, God,
God,
yes,
Lord, T.J. freaking Hooker. Oh
yeah,
God,
he was in an episode from 1983 to 1984, and he was Detective Jim Cody, slash Frank Barrett.
oh Lord,
He said TJ Hooker.
oh God.
Do you got the TJ Hooker box set?
He, unfortunately,
I knew you had. I think he showed that on one of our pickups
yeah,
videos or something. I can't remember.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
We need to do a cup. We need to do a reaction to that to those fight scenes one day. That'd be the funniest shit ever.
oh God.
Okay,
I
let me keep going on. Beside what you got to say?
as I say, it's true. If I sit through the whole series, I'm doing a breakdown. I'll do a breakdown review on it, including reaction.
Okay, I'm gonna be there for entertainment purposes because I never looked
Mm,
at TJ Hooker a day in my life, but I can only imagine the fight scenes definitely around that
oh
time in
God.
like the 80s. You thought the 70s was bad, like certain 80s like fight scenes, like oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. 1984 1984 cover up, 1985 Lady Blue. He was on the A Team in 1986 on the episode called Quarterback Sneak.
Mm.
1987 The Running Man, the
Oh
classic
wow.
movie, in 1988. I'm gonna get you, sucker. I never looked at that movie before. I gotta get that on DVD.
It's worth it. It's very good movie.
All right. 1989 LA Heat.
Oh Lord.
1989 Crack House.
Oh
What you
Lord.
saying?
I saw both of those. L.A. Heat. Oh, that was with Lawrence Hill. So God. And Crack House. That was Richard Roundtree and Anthony Geary from General Hospital.
What you think of those movies? Do you think I can get through it without like throwing my remote out my window or something? I don't know what's your reaction to those movies too.
Uh, okay, so L.A. Heat. Oh God, that was 1989. That was Lawrence Hill and Jacobs was also in that. I mean, Lawrence Hill and Jacobs. I mean, that movie was cheesy, but Crack House. I think you might get through it without throwing the remote. I think you might. You might.
All right, I'm gonna trust you because you ain't doubted me before, Mike. So I'm putting all my trust in you, brother. So I'm gonna trust you now. All right, 1989 Killing American Style,
Oh God,
1990.
what's in that? Oh
What you
God.
say?
Oh God, I forgot he was in that. I saw that one too. That one. I don't know if you can get through it. That is one of the most laughable. His performance, that whole movie was laughable.
Tell me about it, cause I don't know shit. So I'm just here to give my flowers to Jim Brown. So I'm just going through his prestigious, acting career from the good times into the bad times and in between the middle. So when I be naming some of these movies, you know much more about me. So go through Killing American Style. What you thought about it, sir?
Oh God. Let's see. The title says for itself. I mean, that's what the title itself is basically, I guess, of what the movie is. That it was laughable. It was just cheesy. It was just it's just, and we're not talking about Walmart cheese. We're talking about Velveeta cheese. We talking about that. That was just so. If you want a good laugh, I highly recommend you watch that movie. If you want to laugh, if you're having a bad day at work, and if you want to see like a movie that's like so bad, watch that one. I have it on DVD, so yeah, that was laughable at its best.
All right, I'm gonna see if it's on Tubi or on YouTube, like these dubbed kung fu movies. But let me get through his prestigious acting career. Thank you, Mike, for explaining that to me too. So this is all just for laughs, just giving Jim Brown his flowers, for the good and the bad and in between the middle. So don't get all in your panties for the people who's gonna watch this on the back end. For everybody in the comment section, thumbs up the video if you can. It make the algorithm go much farther than it needs to go in a positive manner on YouTube. So besides that, 1990 Twisted Justice.
Oh God.
What you seen that too?
Yeah, I saw that. That I listen. I seen a lot. I seen a stuff ton of movies. That one I've seen. That one. Okay, that one I don't really remember all of it, but at the same time, that one is just as schlock. It was just as yeah, yeah. If you find it on YouTube, yeah, watch it because I need to rewatch that one. I think I fell asleep on parts of it.
You crazy, man. You fucking crazy. 1990 Hammer Slammer and Slade.
Oh, Hammer Slammer and Slay. That was a spinoff of I'm gonna get you sucker, which that was gonna be a TV series, but that never took off. I'm sad about that. I think you can find that on YouTube.
Okay, we're going to the year 1992 with the Divine Enforcer.
Never seen it.
I think he took a 4-year hiatus and he came back in 1996 with Original Gangsters, which is a
Classic.
classic movie.
Yes, love it.
I definitely need to add that to my DVD collection. I don't know if you got it in your collection, Mike. If you do, I wish I could chicken strip snatch it away from you because I can watch that movie all day.
Well, if I don't know if I do have it. If I do, I'll just send it to you if I do have it.
Okay, that's what's up, man. See, black people can't share with each other, so I don't want to hear everybody else talking about, man, black folks can't do nothing with each other, man. I don't want to hear the emotion, man. See, my brother Mike showing me love, man. We help each other out. We brothers, man. We
Yeah.
happy and we're single and we color. Give me a high five.
Yep. High five.
Yeah. 1996, Mars Attacks.
Hmm.
Um, Never heard of it. 1998, he got game.
Ooh, he was in that.
Apparently, his character was named Spivey,
Ooh.
Spivey.
Okay, that's what's up. That's the one with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, he
Okay.
was in that movie. I haven't listened. I haven't looked at it in a long, long time. But
Yeah.
1998, Small Soldiers. Never heard of that.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. That's the Small Soldiers. That was the one I think was like animated. Okay, yeah, that I don't know. I think I've seen some of it. I know that for a fact.
Okay, this was up 1999 New Jersey Turnpikes.
Okay.
The BET movie Everybody and Their Mama Looked At Any Given Sunday. He was in that.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, that was good.
Of course, it was basically a BET movie, just like the Tyler Perry TV shows. But congratulations. 2002 On the Edge.
Mm, never seen it.
Yeah, I never heard of it neither. 2004 She Hate Me.
Nope.
2004 Sucker Free City.
Nope.
2005 Animal.
Mm-mm.
2006 Sideliners.
Nope.
He took a 4-year hiatus after that. He came back in 2010 for a title called Dream Street.
Never heard of it.
That's a Janet Jackson album. How you gonna name let me be quiet because I know a lot of people don't like that album, and I ain't gonna go in on that because I got that album in my collection. I think it's a good album. That's just me. I don't give a fuck what Reg or Try think. I think it's a good album. It's not a classic. Control is not her first album. Her first album is Janet Jackson, self-titled in 1982. So I don't want y'all niggas getting sick too. Oh, Control was her first album. It came out in 1986. No, nigga, her first album is Janet Jackson. Just like Michael Jackson's Off the Wall is not Michael Jackson's first official album. Let's just get that. Let's just get that right. I know a
No,
lot of niggas like to say that. Oh well, it all started with Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. If you go through his discography, no, it didn't. If y'all
th-
trying to be technical,
but then there's people that think Thriller is like his first album. Let's start with that. That's people. There's people thinking that. I'm like, no, no, no.
now I can see if they said Off the Wall, but how you just gonna skip Off the Wall and just go to Thriller? Like, y'all just skip past Off the Wall like it was shit. Yeah, I like Thriller, but like Off the Wall, come on now.
If anything, I feel like Off the Wall. I feel like the song itself is underrated. I feel just slightly. I just feel like they don't play it as much as like um what Thriller or I mean they play Human Nature fairly, but Dirty Diana, that's another one that doesn't get a lot of play. I think that one's also underrated.
You know a song that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about within Michael Jackson's discography. I
Yeah,
do like Liberian Girl, but like when you think of certain like unreleased tracks, I do like Al Capone from I think it was on the 25th year anniversary of you know of the Bad album, the 25th
yeah,
year anniversary of that the Al Capone track. That track is, I mean, it's like certain Michael Jackson songs could have had music videos for, and it
right.
was just it just tragic that he didn't have music videos of those songs. He might do, but just like Prince vaults, we'll never be able to see him until like we're almost in our deathbed. It's just like the Wu-Tang Forever once upon a time in Shaolin. I'll never be able to hear that album until
Right.
I'm almost dead.
Facts.
We'll never be able to hear that album until like maybe the next generation. So I just want to thank the RZA for doing that. I mean, I know you was trying to be different though, but like I would definitely like to be a fly on the wall for the album. I would like to hear that album one day before I die. So yeah. Besides that, 2014 draft day,
Mm-mm.
he was in an episode of the 2016 TV show Unsung Hollywood. This the TV show when they do like the unsung the documents of like certain artists and stuff like
Yeah.
the unsung like for underrated like actors, actresses, music pioneers, etc.
Right.
And he was in 2019 documentary called The Black Godfather.
Oh wow.
Mm. All right. Besides that, I done went through his whole filmography, the good and the bad. Let me see. I already read his sports accolades. Let me see. Let me see if I missed anything. Oh yeah, I think they built a statue of him outside of the Cleveland Browns stadium. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken,
I,
I forgot what year they did that.
yeah, I've heard something about that.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I just wanted to come on here and give Jim Brown his flowers, man. So and there are a lot of people like that within our community that's still alive right about now. You got the Muhammad Ali's, you had the Jim Browns, you had so many significant others, the Jackie Robinsons,
Yeah.
so many significant others that came through, the sports, that laid it down, not only for Black American kids, but kids all around the world who has the same skin color as you and me,
Yeah.
to follow your dreams, but to keep your head keep your head on your shoulder. So I just want to say rest in peace to Jim Brown. It's real sad to see him, go away, but we all got to go one day. And he went in the greatest way possible. He passed away in his sleep. So that's if I had to go out like that, that's the way I want to pass, in my sleep. I don't want to go out painful. Having to go through the pain. Having your family members around you. Just seeing you struggle. Just when you think about stuff within your life from beginning to the end, you just don't want to be, looking up in the sky, just going through pain while you still on this earth. You just want to get it over with at that certain amount of time and that certain amount of age, because you've seen a lot of stuff within your life at that age, and some people don't want to be here. Some people want to be in a better place, and I definitely know that Jim Brown, he had a hard life, but he made something of himself. The ups and downs, trials and tribulations. But he's an icon, and he will always be remembered not only for being a significant NFL player, not only setting the foundation for black NFL running backs, and setting setting different achievements within different sectors of his life. If it happens to be sports, acting, activism, and I forgot to say something about that too. He was an activist. I'm trying to see where I missed it at on the Wikipedia. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. No, that ain't it. So, freshman career. I already went through all that. College career, early life. Let me see if I can look it up on Google. Cause sometimes Wikipedia be not updating their information right. Let me see activists. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it. Go to the New York Times. Let me see. Yep, his family announced his death on Friday on Instagram. I got it off Facebook, I think. Let's see if I can find it. In any game, he dragged defenders when he wasn't running over them or flattening them with a stiff arm. He eluded them with his footwork when he wasn't sweeping around ends and outrunning them. He never missed a game, piercing defensive lines in 118 regular consecutive. Mike, if you still hear me, it's two of you on the little thing, so I don't know if you're Oh, okay, you on the camera.
Yeah.
My bad. I was saying it's two of you.
I don't know why because I got booted off.
Yeah, I ain't remove you or nothing. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know what the hell's going on with StreamYard.
I don't either. Streamon, they on that stuff.
Yep. Always something with StreamYard.
Hmm.
I'm trying to find some information about his trying to find something about him being an activist because I know he was an activist trying to steer youth from not being in gangs. I'm trying to find some information on that before we get up out of here because we've been on for about an hour and some change.
Wow.
What did Jim Brown do during the civil rights movement? He founded an organization called American in the 1980s to help young people in gangs reform their lives and often work with incarcerated people. While he became an influential activist, Brown's life was regularly marred by violence, especially toward women. So even in death, they still trying to throw dirt on this brother's name. You know, everybody go through everything. So I didn't go through his criminal past. I didn't want to go through that because I didn't want to bring any negativity towards his life. But
Right.
yeah. Oh yeah, he finished his career with 12,312 yards, an NFL record until Walter Payton broke in 1984. He is still only one. He is still the only player to have led the NFL in all-purpose yards 5 times.
Wow. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, in 1968 he founded the Black Economic Union of Kansas. It was founded in 1968 by Jim Brown, Cleveland Browns football star turned actor, the Curtis McClinton former Kansas City halfback. It is the oldest of the Kansas City's 13 community development corporations. Let me see.
That's what's up.
He was a Heisman Trophy winner finalist. He finished fifth in the year 1956. He did not win the Heisman Trophy. Um, He says the Heisman Trophy within that time was all about race, and Jim Brown was the best college football player that year, but he did not win the Heisman Trophy. He finished in fifth place. So they're basically telling you that the Heisman Trophy around that time was on some racist shit, and
Jeez.
most likely if it was a fair thing going on, and if everybody played fair, he would have definitely had a Heisman Trophy around that time.
I agree.
And he is one of let me see he is one of the 10 greatest players to never win the Heisman Trophy. Let me see what they got on this. You got Jim Brown at number 5. The 1956 Heisman Trophy was all about race. Jim Brown was the best player in college football that year. Not only did he not win the Heisman Trophy, but he also finished fifth. Brown was third in the country in rushing yards in 1956. Paul Hornrogue, the winner, simply did not have the numbers, which most likely is a white dude. He threw three touchdowns to he threw 3 touchdowns to 13 interceptions in 1956. Johnny Majors outrushed Homegrown and threw only 3 interceptions.
Wow.
So I didn't know people can have those type of stats and win the Heisman Trophy. So you mean to tell me this dude only threw 3 touchdowns that season, but he had 13 interceptions? Wow. Yeah. Let me see. Don McPherson, the Syracuse Orange had an interesting relationship with the Heisman Trophy. First, it was the controversy surrounding Jim Brown in 1956. Then, Ernie Davis made history as the first African American to win in 1961. Yeah, he was the first. Black American to win the Heisman Trophy in 1961. Ernie Davis. Let's see.
Right.
Let me see. Doug Williams. Doug Williams. He was a quarterback at Gremlin State. Let me see. Yeah, you got to be real. I don't know. Sometimes the Heisman Trophy you just pick like certain people who might not. It's a stats award. So
Right.
yeah, if you might be on a garbage ass team, but if you have like your stats on deck, you can win the Heisman Trophy. So
Easily.
Georgia, I think Georgia last Heisman Trophy winner is Herschel Walker. So I think Stetson Bennett this past college football season he finished either second or third in the Heisman Trophy race. They gave it to Caleb Williams at USC. They gave him the
Right.
Heisman Trophy. It would have been nice for him to win because we haven't had a Georgia player win the Heisman Trophy since Herschel Walker's, but they
True.
gave it to Caleb Williams at USC, even though they did lose in the Cotton Bowl to Tulane. So
Wow.
yeah, we won a national championship that year though, but the
Yeah.
Heisman Trophy is all about stats. But Stetson Bennett, he threw for over 4,000 yards that season, so I think he was the I think he was the first quarterback since the Aaron Murray era to throw for over 4,000 yards.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, I just want to come on here and say rest in peace to the late great Jim Brown. You was gone but not
Yeah.
forgotten. I just want to send my condolences to your wife, your kids, your family members, and your extended friends. And I just want to give my condolences to your loved ones, and rest in peace to the late great Jim Brown. Any final thoughts you got, brother Mike, before we close it out? Mike, you heard me?
Only in the sports world, but in the movie world, just a
I don't know if
great.
y'all can hear what you were saying. I couldn't
Can
hear you.
you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yo.
I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. Go.
Okay. So I was saying that um, Jim Brown, he's not only going to be missed in sports, but he's going to be missed in the Hollywood entertainment world, and he was a great legend. I mean, that's all there is to say, basically.
All right, and with that being said, we're going to end the live stream before StreamYard mess up my live, and I have to most likely throw something at my TV. But besides that, rest in peace to Jim Brown. My condolences to him and his family, and for all my older people who are older, who got grandkids, etc. If you have any Jim Brown stories, with him, being in the NFL, him being activist during the civil rights era, and him being a actor, etc. If you know like any significant information about Jim Brown, just going to put it in the comment section. If you have any, Jim Brown memories of him being in the NFL, him being a lacrosse player, etc., just put it in the comment section when the live stream is over with, and just send your condolences to him and his family and loved ones. But with that being said, I'm out of here. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and oh yeah, Mike, before you go, do you have any updates going on your channel?
You said, do I have any updates? You said,
Yeah.
okay. So on my channel, it's gonna be the 21 Jump Street TV show breakdown. That's coming up. If it's not this Sunday, it will definitely be next Sunday. So I'll keep you guys updated. And then Once Upon a Time in America, that's gonna be the following after 21 Jump Street. So I have like big things are gonna be coming up pretty soon on my channel.
All right, y'all. I have some new vinyl pickups. I will be doing like some short videos on it. And besides that, I didn't forget that I still gotta record this album of Scientists and Jimmy Strikes Back. I was going to do that a couple of weeks ago, but I got locked up again in YouTube jail. And with that being said, I will not try to lose my channel permanently. I'm trying to make it to June 20th for my strikes can be taken off. And besides that, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Eric Johnson 1994. Subscribe to Mike's Movie Corner and Rants. Subscribe to my backup channel EJ94. And with that being said, like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you, brother Mike, for coming on. I
Yeah.
want to thank everybody in the comment section. Thank you, Yusuke. Thank you, Q Smooth. And I just want to say rest in peace to Jim Brown. And y'all be safe. It's crazy out here. The world is at an all-time low. Nobody is playing with God on their mind. They're playing with devil on their shoulders, on their left shoulder and right shoulder. So you got to keep your head on the swivel. And I'm gonna say this from the greatest movie of all time, Scarface. Every day above ground is a good day. So you might as well live your life to the fullest, because any day can be your last day. With that being said, thank y'all for looking at the video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out, Mike.
Peace.